You just spent 5 minutes telling me what it is, and I'm so dense. I got part of it, but not all of it. We'll explain about it in a minute, Eric. But again, thank you so much for your support of Christmas in the City. It's a great cause. Do you have a personal connection that you want to share?
Yeah, 100%. My wife, Jen, worked for the Kennedy brothers when she was a co-op at Northeastern.
Oh, cool.
So she's been a shelter captain for 33 years. When I met her, then I got involved.
So, and to explain to the people, a shelter captain is?
Basically someone who manages the shelter. Who are the kids that are coming to get gifts that are being donated by whoever's providing donations? Specific gifts so that, like, we know the top 3 choices of every child that comes, and we try to deliver.
So again, just to explain in layman terms, if you don't know, again, one of the greatest things of Christmas in the City is that they provide Christmas to kids that don't have it, and you wouldn't know it or appreciate the fact that there are a lot of kids that don't get Christmas. There's kids that don't get to do what most of us did as kids, which is fill out a Christmas list and then wake up Christmas morning and have those gifts under the tree. These kids don't even have trees. So what Christmas in the City does, and they have endeavored to do, is to go to the shelters and get Christmas lists from the kids. And when they take toy donations to try and specifically match toys to these kids' lists, so these kids get to experience what we should all get to experience, which is Santa giving them a gift on their list. And you're saying that your wife was in charge of a given shelter in a given year.
Yeah, and for 33 years she's done that. I've been doing it with her for the past 25.
Wow.
My kids, Luke and Ella, when they were 1 year old in a baby's in a car seat, we would have them there while we're wrapping gifts for kids. So it's a great tradition. I get emotional.
I can tell. It's a great. It's how it started for the Kennedys in the first place, and that the generational have families that have been with them. You've been doing that 33 years.
My wife is 33. I'm about 25.
Wow, that is tremendous.
It's a great charity.
Okay, so well, again, thank you for your support, not just with the obviously this and the online auction or the in-person auction, but your support every year actually on the ground doing it.
And likewise, I mean, I appreciate that you offered this as an opportunity and would love to continue doing this to help
what
support
we
it.
do is nothing compared to what folks like you do. And people thank me all the time, like I just do the show from their auction and like talk them up. That's all. I don't do what you guys do, although I should. And you know, it's a great family thing, I think, as well, and it does sort of reinforce a lesson about what the thing's all about in the first place.
Yeah, which is why I think Jake and Sparky, when they started it, that was the whole point. They wanted their kids to experience what it was like to be in this kind of situation. And the same for my kids. I want the same thing for them.
Okay. Eric, tell me about CrowdComfort. Try and explain it to me again.
So we're a real estate technology firm. So we basically use QR codes that get placed in a specific location.
You know what those are, Mike, right?
Yes, that I do.
Phone.
Yep,
yeah.
Those annoying QR codes. Yeah, when someone tells me to use a QR code, I tell them to go F themselves. But go ahead.
And they get put in rooms by the light switch in bathrooms, like, you know, by the towel paper dispenser. And people can give feedback. So when we started the company, it was all about getting feedback from occupants in a geolocated manner. Where are you? What do you need? Who can we get that information to? And then get you a faster response. Because in traditional big real estate portfolios, no one knows where to go. There's, you know, it's like the telephone game trying to figure out, if I have a light bulb out above my desk, who do I go to? So we're streamlining the process of that. And we work with many Fortune 500 companies, big organizations, providing that service to the employees.
It's geared towards servicing, making sure the employees have what they need in the workplace and how they give that feedback.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
It.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, like, you know, how would that apply to something we might talk about? Like, for example, if we had a QR code here at that workstation right there, you're saying someone like, oh, I don't know, Mazz. If he came into work one day and found like fingernail clippings for someone who'd been clipping their fingernails, or like toe jam for someone who'd been like cleaning their toes and clipping their toenails,
or gum stuck under
maybe gum stuck underneath
right.
the desk, or like little jibs of food sprayed across the thing, or maybe
Dorito
like,
crumbs,
maybe like a booger, a little snot thing here. But I'm just making this up, like in general, like, you know, if you know, hypothetically. And he had a QR code, he could then scan the QR code and provide that feedback.
Yeah, and then based on what it is, so it could be that it's too hot, or it could be that there's something needs to be cleaned up, or this microphone's not working. We would route his request right to the right person who would respond to those different things. And in big, giant organizations, it's like a lot of different teams of people managing all these different things. So the occupant or the employee of a corporation doesn't really know where to go. And if they do, they have to pick out 10 different systems to get the information into. So we streamline that process. We connect to the people, and then we connect to the systems that those teams that respond actually use. And so that's the core product that we started 12 years ago. With the pandemic, we saw a lot of requests for hand sanitizer, soap refills, cleaning of space. So we were like, okay, we didn't know what was going to happen in the world because the pandemic was coming. But we were like, why don't we create a cleaning map? Why don't we show the employees of the companies we work with exactly what's being done from a cleaning perspective in real time? And what we discovered was that it wasn't about COVID. It was more about getting information on the big spend that's going out to clean all these spaces. And no one has any information. Who's doing it? Are they getting what they're paying for? So basically that product competes with the clipboard on the back of the bathroom door.
And it's also making sure that these big companies, and so you said there's schools that you have as clients, making sure they don't run out of, paper towels and things of that nature, and making sure employees like Barth aren't stealing it, right? Like,
yeah. And you think this would work well in like stadiums?
Absolutely, yeah. And we partner with Georgia Pacific that does all the paper towel dispensers in all these facilities, and they have these new technologies that are IoT devices.
Which stands for?
Internet of Things. They're basically connected sensors that are connected to the internet. So their paper towel dispensers will tell them when they're down to 5% of paper left or when the soap is almost out. So what that does is it prevents the waste of just changing paper towel and soap on a schedule. So rather than throwing out 50% on the guy's schedule and putting a new roll in, they're basically doing it when it's down to 5%. And that not only reduces waste, but also improves the experience. Because how bad is it when you go into a facility and you got to do a number 2 and there's no paper towel? And
never soap. Never soap.
Right?
There's never soap.
Right.
So you make sure there's soap. In a roundabout way, there's soap if there's CrowdComfort in there.
Exactly. We take that sensor data that they're getting and give it to the person who's actually doing the work.
How long have you been doing this?
So we've been, CrowdComfort is 12 years old.
And it's a Massachusetts company?
It is, yeah. Based right in Boston. And
you could save the money at, say, TD Garden, Gillette Stadium. Hear that, Patriots?
Well, what I'd love to do, we were talking about doing a poll. So we're doing a poll to the audience over the next couple of weeks that's basically asking people to submit a survey and say which facility they like the best from a cleanliness perspective.
Meaning Garden, Fenway, Gillette, etc.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm a little out of touch. So if you had asked me this back in the day, the filthiest. I mean, what was dirtier? Old Fenway with the troughs that you urinated into, or the old Garden where there were literally rats running around in there?
The old Garden was pretty filthy. When I was a kid, when I was there, Fenway's still kind of.
They've gussed it up though. Yeah. Are the troughs? The troughs are gone, or they still have? They still have troughs.
Pretty sure they're gone.
They're unfortunately gone.
Yeah. Too bad. I didn't mind it. A good trough is efficient.
Yeah,
Bygone era.
Take a casual, you just stand there.
Especially when you're all standing around together.
Yeah, it's communal. It really brings people together. Yeah. But no, what is? You think Fenway's
still kind of dingy to me.
Yeah.
In terms of their restrooms. Yeah.
It's really just a coat of paint, I guess. Huh. So So rank them. Fenway, the Garden, Gillette. What needs the most work, et cetera, et cetera?
I mean, those bathrooms, I think they all kind of need help. They need CrowdComfort.
They do. Well, one of the things that happens, you have 3 periods, you have 4 quarters, right? And in between each one of those is a mad rush. And, it's so hard to deal with that demand, right? So having technology is an important piece of the element to deliver the experience that people want.
To deliver the crap in a timely manner.
Yeah. And so one of the things we were thinking as we were thinking about coming on the show, how do we make this relevant to the audience, what we do? And we were like, why don't we challenge the 3 big facilities in sports in Boston? We'll put our QR code on the paper towel dispenser that Georgia Pacific has, and we'll ask them to submit feedback about the bathrooms. good, bad, or ugly. But
Yeah, I'm sure the owners would love that.
yeah, well, hey, you know,
The crafts don't do so well in these surveys about their working conditions.
Well,
I
you
don't
know,
know
we
if they'd
might-
invite this.
we might be able to help them improve the situation. But one of the things that I love about it is it's not only about tracking, making sure people are doing things, but you can also say thank you to the frontline workers that actually deliver that experience for you, and it's just a nice way to gather information.
Eric Graham, again, CrowdComfort. If this is something you think, I don't know, you could use or be interested in, again, it's CrowdComfort. Eric Graham, thank you again so much for your support of Christmas in the City for this and what you do on a yearly basis,
Thank you.
helping on the ground. Thank you
You too.
again.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in, Eric.